Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to part 2 of lecture number 3. If you remember that we started unit number 3, organizational behavior, in part 1 of lecture 3. We are continuing it in this part. The first topic in this part 2 of the lecture which we are discussing is the organizational culture. Organizational culture is defined as the underlying beliefs, assumptions, values, and ways of interacting that contribute to the unique social and psychological environment of an organization. Means that organizational culture is actually the summation of the beliefs, assumptions, values, and the ways of interacting that contribute to the unique environment of an organization, which differentiate it from the other organizations. The organizational culture includes an organization's expectations, experiences, philosophy, as well as the values that guide member behavior, and is expressed in member self-image, inner workings, interaction with the outside world, and future expectations. As you see in this slide, that as I defined the organizational culture, that this is actually the summation of the values, traditions, behaviors, experiences which lead to such an environment and organization which differentiate this organization from the other organization. It is the way we do things around here. How we act and react around us in an organization is actually a picture of the organizational culture. Organizational culture offers a shared system of meanings, which is the basis for communications and mutual understanding. Means organizational culture is one of the way which lays down the basis for communication and mutual understanding among the employees of an organization. Organizational culture or corporate culture is the pattern of values, norms, beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that may not have been articulated, but shape in which people in the organization behave and things get done. As I defined that earlier, that it is actually a combination of the values prevailing in the organization, the norms, the beliefs, the attitudes of the employees, and the assumptions, which may not be in the written form, but these shape ways in which the people working in this organization behave internally and externally, and they do things get it done, that through these beliefs, through these values, through this culture, through such type of the experiences, they try to do in the best way. The values refer to what is believed to be important about how people and organizations behave. Similarly, norms are unwritten rules of behavior. A strong culture is a system of informal rules that spell out how people are to behave most of time. That a strong organizational culture means that such type of the rules which are not formal one, informal, not in a stated form, but these are such informal rules that spell out from the people, and the result is the behavior of the people. Organizational culture offers a shared system of meanings that is basis for communication and understanding. Now the question arises: different organizations have different cultures. There are different ways through which the organizational culture develop. Organizational culture is formed in different ways, and the following are few of the ways. First, by the leaders in the organization, especially those who have shaped it in the past. The people identify with the visionary leaders how they behave and what they expect. Means that the leader, initially, the basis of the organizational culture is laid down by the leaders. How they behave, how they talk, how they deal, how they work, what the people expect from them, what he expects from the people. All this lay down the basis of organizational culture. And this is one of the way for the formation of organizational culture. They note such leaders pay attention to and treat them as role models. A good leader, a good manager, an experienced manager, he appreciates the roles of the different employees at different levels. If they do good, he appreciates them. If they do wrong, they are reformed in such a way that results in the removal of this deficiency. Culture is found around critical incidents. Sometimes some incident occur in the within the organization, which result in the development of a culture. This can be emergency or some other type of the critical incident, and then the culture is found to meet such type of the incidents. And this incident, this type of the actions which are taken during the critical incidents may form a culture. Because if they expect in the future such type of some incident happens, then it is expected that the organization will respond in similar way. Similarly, the third way of the formation of the organizational culture is culture develops from the need to maintain effective working relationship among organization members, their established values and expectations. Similarly, if there are good working relationships among the members of the organization, among the people working in an organization, if there are good relationships, there are effective relationships, exemplary relationship, this will develop values and expectations from one another in the positive sense. Moreover, culture is influenced by organization's environment. Similarly, the internal environment of the organization also affects the organizational culture. Diversity of the culture. The development process may result in a culture that characterizes the whole organization. There are different culture within the organization. Means we can take this in different ways. That talking about the individuals, possibly the individual might belong to different cultures, and when they combined, they behave in a different ways. And with the passage of time, with experience, a common culture of values is developed. Similarly, another way, talking about the working in organization, working culture, the culture of an outward looking marketing department may be substantially different from that of an internally focused manufacturing function. Possibly in the large organizations, especially in the multinational organizations, in the MNCs, we see that there are huge departments, and the culture of one department may not necessarily match the culture of the other large department. There may be some common organizational values, norms, but in some aspect they will vary from different work environments. As the working conditions differ from these two, the manufacturing organization and marketing department, manufacturing department and marketing department of an organization, the goals differ. Both these departments may have some same values and norms, but they may also differ in some aspects. The components of a culture. The organizational culture consists of values, norms, artifacts, and management or leadership style. This is actually leadership style. If you define the values are belief in what is best or good for organization and what should or ought to happen. Values is the thinking in the mind, the belief in the mind that what is best for the organization, what is in the favor of organization, and what needs to be done in order to do that, to achieve that goal. The value set of an organization may only be recognized at top level, but it may be shared throughout the business, in which case the business could be described as a value-driven. The values can be expressed in these areas. The values can be care and consideration for the people. We say we care for mutual caring and the care for the management, the care for the workers, the competence, the competitiveness, the customer service. There are some organizations in which the customer service is very good, and they have some traditions regarding the customer services. Similarly, innovation, performance, quality, and teamwork. These can be the values. Norms are the unwritten rules of behavior, the rules of the game that provide informal guidelines on how to behave. Norms are unwritten rules of behavior. These norms are relevant to concerned with the behavior of the individuals, and norms are actually not in written form. Norms tell people what they are supposed to be doing, saying, believing, and even wearing. Norms are actually, these are types of the rules, unwritten. These are developed in the within the organization, among the people working in the organization, and these are through the norm the people come to know that what they should do, at which time, what to say, what to believe, what not to believe, and even sometimes wearing. They are never expressed in writing, but if they were, they would be policies or procedures. These are closest to the procedures and policies. Actually, they are not in the written form. They are passed by word of mouth or behavior and can be enforced by the reactions of the people if they are violated. They can exert very powerful pressure on the behavior. Because of these reactions, we control others by the way we react to them. Another type of similarly, a segment of a part of the organizational culture is artifacts. Artifacts are the visible and tangible aspects of an organization that the people hear, see, or feel, and which contribute to their understanding of the organizational culture. It includes such things as the working environment, the tone and language used in the emails. This is invisible form. Norms are not visible, but the artifacts are the invisible form. These are expressed in the letters, in the emails, in the working environment. In the memoranda, the manner in which the people address each other at the meetings or over the telephone, the welcome or lack of welcome given to the visitors, and the way in which the receptionists deal with the outside calls. As we hear now, different, when you call someone, you get some message. Artifacts can be very revealing. Similarly, another way of forming the organizational culture is the management style. This is a very important part of the organizational culture. The approach managers use to deal with people, their with people, their management or leadership style is a significant part of the culture of an organization. Most managers adopt an approach to somewhere between the extremes. That means that the organizational culture also depends on the management style. Often the managers have different ideas toward how to behave in different conditions in two extremes. Some of the measures will some will vary it according to the situation or their feelings at the time. Others will stick to the same style whatever happens. Means some of the measures have diverse type of the ideology, diverse type of the methodology, techniques to deal with the people. They act and react between two extremes. But there are some employees, some of the managers who behave in same style, which is not good for the organizational culture. Each manager has his or her own style, but this would be influenced by the organizational culture, which may produce a prevailing management style that represents a behavioral norm for the managers that is generally expected and adopted. The next part of this is the classifying the organizational culture. It can be classified into different forms. Classifying the organizational culture, the organizational culture can be classified into the following types: power culture. It is a culture in which leadership resides in few and rests on their ability and tends to be entrepreneurial. In the first type of the culture, the powers this remains in a few hands, and it depends on their ability. Those people who have the power, how the organization functions. Role culture. It is a culture in which the power is unbalanced between the leader and the bureaucratic culture, and the environment is likely to be stable, and the roles and rules are defined. Similarly, achievement culture is a culture in which the person's motivation and commitment are stressed, and action, excitement, and impact are valued. Whilst in supportive culture, people contribute out of sense of commitment and solidarity. Similarly, Harrison, 1972, he classified the cultures into power-oriented, people-oriented, task-oriented, and role-oriented cultures. Handy, 1981, classified the organizational culture into the following types. Number one is the power culture. The power culture is one with central power source that exercises control. There are few rules and procedures, and atmosphere is competitive, power-oriented, and political. Means the rules. There are certain rules which have to be followed, and these rules remain with one who is leading the organization. The role culture in which role is controlled by the procedures, in which the work is controlled by the procedures and rules, and the role or job description is more important than the person who fills it. Similarly, in the task culture, it is the culture in which the aim is to bring together the right people and let them to work in it. Influence is based more on expert power than imposition or personal power, and the culture is adaptable and teamwork is important. The person culture, it is the culture in which the individual has the central point. After discussing the organizational culture, our next topic is the organizational processes. We know that a number of social processes take place in an organization that affect how they function. Means When an organization operates, there are different types of the processes, social processes occur in it. And these processes can be interaction and networking, communication, group behavior, leadership, power, politics, and conflict. Now let us discuss one by one. Interaction and network. Interaction between people within organization, creating network for getting things to be done. When the people interact with one another in the different sections of an organization, they develop a type of network for performing certain specific jobs and exchanging information that it is not catered for the formal structure. And when the people working in organization, they interact with each other, then they create there is a mutual discussion and exchange of views, and they develop a network through which they exchange information, they exchange their views, they exchange their experiences, and do in their best way to get the goals of the organization. Network means the people convey opinion and enlist support to promote their projects or ideas. In this way, they may get more done than by doing through the formal channels. The second process is the communication. The communication processes used in an organization have a marked effect on how it functions, especially if they take place through the network. Communication is very important. It can be bilateral communication. It could be a communication among the employees. It can be a communication among the management and the employees. The communication with the subordinates. This is an important organizational process. And emails encourage the instant flow of information but inhibit face-to-face interaction, which are often the best ways of doing things. And these emails encourage time to time the appreciation, information sharing through emails. This encourage the employees, give the information to the employees, but the face-to-face interaction are also, along with the emails, face-to-face interaction are considered more powerful. Group behavior, we know that in the organization there are different groups or team of people working together. When the tasks are allocated, there are groups are formed, and they may be set up formally as a part of the structure, or they may be informal gatherings. The groups can be formal or it can be informal. A group can be permanent or temporary feature in an organization. It can be groups can be permanent, located for a specified targets, or they may be temporarily formed for some temporary activities. Formal groups or teams are created by organization to achieve a defined purpose. People are brought together with necessary skills to carry out the task, and a system exists for directing, coordinating, and controlling the group activities. We are talking about the formal groups. The formal groups are created for specific purpose, for a specific target, and the people are directed through different orders, through different guidelines, in order to achieve that specific target. Informal groups are formed by the people in organization who have some sympathy with one another. Definitely, if this is a part of organizational culture, that informal groups are formed among the employees, and they sympathies develop with one another, because we know that in our society sympathies are developed when we come to know about one another. It should be said that the formal groups satisfy the needs of organization, while the informal groups satisfy the needs of their members. There are different stages Tuckman defined for the formation of the groups. The first one is the forming. When there is a problem, there is anxiety. The group the employees are unable to finish the work in a proper way, they are unable to understand some certain rules, regulations, and processes. For it, they depend on the leader. They depend on their leader, their management, and testing find out the nature of the situation and the task and what behavior is acceptable. In such a situation, the groups are formed in order to help such type of the employees to such that they come out of the anxiety, and they are able to finish the work properly, to achieve their target properly. Storming when there is conflict. Storming is an advanced stage of the group formation, where the employees come to know that some knowledge, and they are able to finish their work. They come to know about the rules, the regulation, the process, and they have conflict with the management, or conflict with the co-workers. The emotional resistance to the demands of the task, and resistance to control, and even rebellion against each other happens at this stage. The third stage is norming. When group cohesion is developed, norms emerge. Views are exchanged openly, mutual support, cooperation increase, and the group acquires a sense of its identity. This is an advanced stage where the conflict is removed, where the norms are developed, and the employees exchange, whether they are with they exchange openly the views with the management, with their co-workers, with their team workers, with their group workers, and they not only exchange their views but also support and are ready to cooperate with one another, performing. When the interpersonal problems are resolved, roles are flexible and functional, and there are constructive attempts to complete the task, and energy is available for effective work. Here, the groups are completely formed because there are no conflicts. They can exchange freely the views. They are sympathetic. They are cooperative. They are efficient. They are flexible. Rigidity is removed, and this is an advanced stage of the group formation. Similarly, leadership is also a part of the process. Organizations largely function by means of the managers and supervisors who exercise leadership in order to get their teams into action and ensure that they achieve the results expected of them. In this organizational process, the leadership plays an important role, because if the leader is a cooperative, the leader is competent, the leader is skilled, then definitely good culture will be developed, good processes will be completed in time, and the task will be completed in time. The employees will be cooperative, and the efficiency of the employees will be more and more, and they will be able to achieve the organizational goals. Power. Organization exists to get things done. In the process of doing this, people or groups exercise power. They exercise this power directly or indirectly. The use of power in influencing behavior is a prevailing feature of organization, whether it is expected by managers, specialists, informal groups, or trade officials. It is a way of achieving the result, but it can be misused. Power can be misused too, but if it is used in a positive sense, then definitely it will lead to the better efficiency. Politics. Politics is also a feature of the organizational life. The aim of organizational politics is to get their own way by influencing the people to accept the point of view without going through the usual channels or relying on their authority. Some individuals generally believe that the best way to get something done is by using political means, especially when they are frustrated by a normal decision process. Others unnecessarily pursue their own ends. This has also positive and negative effects. Conflict. Conflict is an integral part, important part of the organization, because they function by means of the adjustment and compromises among competitive elements in their structure and membership. Conflict also arises when there is a change because it may be seen as a threat to be challenged or resisted. Or when there is frustration, conflict is not always deplorable. It can be a result of progress and change, and it can be used constructively. Conflict is an important part of the organizational process because not necessarily the employees, maybe the workers, maybe always agree with the co-workers or with the team workers or with the management. There may be conflict on different issues, and sometimes the conflict can have both positive and negative aspects. If it is treated positively, it may have positive results, and if it is treated negatively, then it will have adverse effects. These are the references of the articles of the books used for this lecture, part 1 and part 2 of the lecture number 3. And with this, I will finish my lecture. Thank you very much.